Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to episode 253 of Dude and a Monkey. My name is Ian Loring, and as always, I'm joined by
Matt Foster. Hello, everybody.
So it is the calm before the Infinity War storm. So it's the show's a bit more loosey goosey, and to be honest, in a way, the show might be a bit more like this in the future, where it's just us kind of talking about what we want to talk about with a film bent, but just having a chat.
Yeah, we kind of have discussed for the past few weeks in the sense that there are some weeks where neither of us just get a chance to watch that much. So we both said that we find ourselves sometimes kind of not forcing ourselves, because that's the wrong thing to say, but we find ourselves watching stuff so that we've got stuff to talk about.
Yeah, for sure.
And then you end up kind of like pressuring yourself to watch something, and we've both kind of said, if you've only watched one thing, you start thinking, shit, I better watch at least one other thing, maybe even two other things if I can squeeze it in, and then it becomes that, and that's kind of not why we do the show. So we did say that well, fuck it, why don't we just not do that? Because there's always shit we can talk about during a week, and it doesn't necessarily. A lot of the time it will be film related, but not always. It isn't always going to be film related, because we do actually have kind of other interests outside of film. Although I think it's fair to say film is a prime interest for us both.
Yeah. No, that's exactly it. So I mean, in that spirit, I mean, this week we are reviewing Beyond Skyline. Which is on Netflix in the UK now. I imagine it's on streaming services around the world, to be honest.
Yep.
It's not a comment about its quality, it's just don't think it really got a wide theatrical. We've got some what we watched as well. Now, also, on the YouTube channel has been more active than it has been in months over the last few days. So we have some kind of video game related content, and it's not just me, which is great.
Yep.
So Mark and I, yesterday, as we record this on Monday, the 23rd of April, started a co-op playthrough of A Way Out, a co-op prison break film. It does very much want to be a film.
It does, yes.
To be fair. But a co-op prison break game where Mark is playing a gentleman with fantastic sideburns, and
they are quite impressive.
I'm playing a guy who's really focused on getting his reps in. to the direct detriment of Sideburn Man.
Yeah,
I can't pretend to remember what their names are.
Vincent and something else.
Yeah.
Leo,
that was it. Yeah,
I'm okay. Vincent, you're Leo.
Yeah, that's it. So, we're doing kind of like live streaming playthroughs, but it's also on the YouTube channel now, because we don't have enough subscribers. We don't have a custom YouTube URL, but if you just search "Dude and a Monkey" on YouTube, I'm going to do that right now, actually, just to test this, and I hope it doesn't go wrong. Monkey. This dude fights a monkey.
It does come up.
Oh, does it? Okay, that's good.
Dude and a monkey, yeah, it does come up.
Okay, great. So, okay, fair play. So, so you can get it online, and we've linked to it on the Twitter and whatnot as well. But as well as that, there's also 2 parts so far of Dad of War, which is my playthrough of God of War. Some technical difficulties in both the first part of that and A Way Out, but we did get it ironed out. Massive thanks to Andrew Jones, actually, for the live troubleshooting on
live tech support. Yeah. So the other thing is we've got that going from there. I am going to at some point this week get a dedicated headset and mic to go with my controller, because at the moment I'm using it with no audio, no headphones plugged in, and a USB mic plugged into my so I am going to get an actual dedicated thing for that, because we are planning on doing a few more of these, aren't we?
Yeah, well, I mean, we're going to do the whole game, I think.
We're going to do the whole game, but we're going to possibly look at doing other games.
Oh, sorry, forgive me. Yeah, no, absolutely, yeah. If anyone has any suggestions for PS4 available co-op games that you would like us to power through, we're very, very open to suggestions there. It's that was a right laugh last night. I really enjoyed myself.
It was good, yeah. And we did quite well with that, I thought.
I think so, yeah. I mean, the human centipede moment was unexpected, and me doing laundry while you were off doing cool shit was an unexpected treat. My guy is just not cool, and yours is. It's really annoying.
It's the fact that you did laundry.
It's just it's the thing is, I thought it was leading to something though. It was like I got the sheets. There's like, right, what do I do with these? Oh, there's a washing machine. Press square to put it in the washing machine. All right, then I'll do that. And then I just stood there for a minute, just watching it go around, thinking something was going to happen, and it fucking didn't. That game's interesting. But anyway, so it's on the YouTube. It's I genuinely think it's quite a funny time.
Yeah.
But also, before we get on to the regular schedule, well, first off, Mo Salah got PFA Player of the Year.
Yeah,
he did. Play.
Yep.
I don't think anyone's really going to begrudge that apart from Kevin De Bruyne.
And Pep Guardiola.
And Pep, yeah, fair point.
Yeah. The thing is, if Kevin De Bruyne had won it, he would have been a very, very fair winner also. I think most rational, even sort of Liverpool fans, because obviously you get crazy football fans no matter what team you support, but most rational Liverpool fans would have said, do you know what, I'd have liked it if Salah had got it. I do think Salah deserves it, but De Bruyne has had an incredible season, and there's no getting away from that. He has, but Salah's had an unbelievably. I think it's the fact that he's surprised a lot of people. I think a lot of the thing was, well, he failed last time he was in the Premier League, and it was a bit like, well, did he though? And then the other point was, well, you know, I remember myself sort of saying to people, yeah, but he scored a lot of goals in Serie A, and it's like, yeah, but that's Serie A. It's like, yes, it's a league famed for its defending. So yeah, it was well deserved, and it was kind of, I think it was quite a nice validation for him in the sense that he did see he had something to prove to come back to the Premier League.
Yeah, fucking right, and fair play to him. But I mean, I suppose the big thing is Wenger out is no longer a hypothetical hashtag.
Yeah. I mean, Arsenal TV. Arsenal fan TV. What the fuck are they going to do now?
Yeah, no, they're going to do nothing. They're literally going to have no content. It's an interesting one because it's like, what kind of manager do Arsenal go for now as well?
Well, that's the thing is, it's been something that's been on the cards for a few years, and Wenger seems to have left. I think it does seem he's gone before he's pushed, and he's not. The fact that he's not come out and said that he's retiring, he's come out and said that he's leaving Arsenal and that he will be still working in football in some capacity. And I don't think that's going to be continuing his punditry work that he does in France. Although I do think he will continue that, but I think he'll also be taking up another job within football, be it a president somewhere, a director of football somewhere, or I do think he'll end up being a manager somewhere. But he doesn't seem that happy. Like he seems like he's going to point some fingers, and he's pointing fingers at the fans, which he's quite right to do so. But also as well, I do think that Arsenal fans have a right to have been able to ask questions for the past few years, in a sense that the Arsenal and the Arsene Wenger conundrum over the past few years has been, the way that I viewed it is, it's a bit of a catch-22 situation, because they are in the position where the strong likelihood is Arsene Wenger was the one who was keeping them in the Champions League and in and around that group of clubs, which was the Big Four and is now proceeded to the Big Six. But also as well, he at the same time is the one that's keeping them out of being in the upper echelons of that. It's only a few years since they finished second, but everyone kind of forgets that they finished second in the season that Leicester won the league, which is more of an anomaly there. But in 22 years, the first decade of his Arsenal career was incredible. And there's no getting away from the fact that he did come in and he did change the way that the English football runs, the way that English football works. And, he forced managers like Alex Ferguson to readjust the way that they looked at football. Not just the way that the way that British football looked at British football. He actually made Alex Ferguson go, right, what's that guy doing? Right, well, we need to do that, but we need to do it better. That's what we do. And so, it made Manchester United a better club, which meant that when Chelsea came along, they had to become better. And then when Manchester City came along, they had to become better. And at the same time, everybody had to become better because this guy had come and had created this. But he'd become too wrapped up in, right, well, I did it this way. The original big Arsenal teams were built around power and a directness, and it's almost like he wanted to prove that he could reinvent football, not just the back scenes of football, the diet and the training and things like that. And it worked, but also it didn't work, and it seems like the right time to go. But the question that you asked at the start, before I started rambling, was quite right. It is what do they go for? In terms of a manager, you've got a club that's 22 years has been moulded around Arsene Wenger. For Christ's sake, he chose his own chief executive.
Yeah, I mean, I think the backroom changes that they made last season, like they've got a director of football actually coming in as well, don't they?
That does seem very much likely. Sporting director, they're calling this, which essentially is a director of football for clubs who don't want to use the phrase director of football.
Yeah. So it does kind of seem like the wheels are turning there. It's just I don't know. It's weird. Like when they stopped qualifying for the Champions League, it's just that was what they always had. Yeah,
they always had that. And the thing is, Stan Kroenke doesn't give a shit about Arsenal Football Club. He quite simply doesn't give a shit about Arsenal Football Club. In the same way that I think you could level the same thing at the Glazers. They don't give a shit about Manchester United Football Club. They give a shit about Manchester United Football business. And you could level that at a lot of Premier League football club owners, in the fact that they, on the pitch success only helps if it helps their business model. But once they stopped qualifying for that and that cash was taken away, that's when it was, right, well, you had a season where you didn't qualify. And then this season, you could qualify by the back door with the Europa League, but they look further away. Burnley, with 3 games left, could feasibly finish above Arsenal.
Yeah.
That's... With the wage budget they've got, with the supposed team they've got, and Arsene Wenger has such a holistic control over that club, they've been making the same mistakes within running down contracts for 6-7 years now, and that just can't go on. It's a thing where football moves in cycles and moves in generations now, and it just seems like it's kind of it's people have caught up with Arsene Wenger, and he hasn't moved forward. And I'm going to refer back to him again. One of the amazing things about Alex Ferguson is he he never stood still. He moved forward, not just his club, his players, or his backroom staff, or his coaching staff. He didn't just alternate them. He moved forward himself. If somebody out in European or world football was doing something different, he was using the fact that he was Alex Ferguson to say, right, I want to go and find out what's going on there. He went out and this is Alex Ferguson who, when Valencia were managed by Rafa Benitez, Alex Ferguson went out to Valencia for a couple of days of their pre-season to see what Rafa Benitez was doing, how he'd taken Valencia to beat teams like Barcelona and Real Madrid. And when Dortmund were winning the Bundesliga, he went out there and spoke to Klopp and said, right, what are these fucking weird new training things you're doing? And when Alex Ferguson wins up and says, can I come to your pre-season and look at this weird light wall that you've got? You're going to say, yeah, you can.
Yeah.
But Wenger didn't. He seemed to stop doing that, and I think the fact that he was always quite gracious with the media and quite giving with the media did give him an awful lot of leeway with the media. If he was a manager of a different club or a different manager, I don't think he'd have got anywhere near as easy ride for the past 10 years as he's had.
Yeah, well, I mean, like you say, he picked the chief exec, and I don't know, there's that kind of sense that he almost ran the boardroom for a second there. I mean, like, you have to wonder with the, if it was the same backroom team of like 2 years ago, would he be making this decision now? And it's probably like, well, no, because... No. But now he's got people who probably aren't as connected to him and are willing to go, look, the results aren't good enough in the attendance. I mean, that's the thing. Like, you look at the fucking pictures of the Emirates and the empty seats, and it is just like, this is a big fucking stadium, and this team should be filling that fucking thing.
That's it.
Sunderland were getting tens of thousands of people until very recently, and this is Arsenal.
That's it. And Arsenal got into trouble with this a couple of years ago, in the sense that that when they were posting their average attendance or their game attendance figures, and their average attendance figures were taken from those game attendances, if you had a season ticket, they counted that whether it was scanned or not. So most clubs now, it's actual. If it's scanned as you go through, click that is sold. But they started off base and went, right, if you've got a season ticket, it's sold. Therefore, we start with that amount. And they were taking the away allocation and just counting that as if it was sold out. And they got a bit of a slap on the wrist saying, hang on a minute, you're basically saying that you're selling out every game, but then we're looking at it and you're not. You're not.
Yeah.
So it needs to be a proper figure, not a figure, and that is then kind of manipulated to make it seem less like you've got people who aren't bothering to show up.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's going to be a fascinating summer.
It is, because you've got what's going on at Arsenal, who will come in there. There's people shouting for certain managers, and you're looking at saying, people saying, "Oh, we need to get someone like Simeone."
Drop that fucking bomb in there.
Yeah, do you? You want to get Diego Simeone? Wow. It's like, okay, tell you what. Watch three Atletico Madrid games, Arsenal, and then tell me if you want Diego Simeone. Fantastic manager, but fuck me, they are pragmatists of the highest order.
It'd be a pretty fucking funny manager to have in the Premier League, though. Like, I hope he does come here just for kind of the...
Oh, he's a personality for sure. Yeah, yeah, he would, and we need more personalities in the Premier League at the moment, in terms of managers, because there's not enough players with personality in football. media training has seen to that. That personality in football, and it makes my fucking teeth itch when I see people like fucking Jesse Lingard and Paul Pogba doing these stupid fucking little fucking dance things that they fucking do, wearing their fucking slide, their fucking shoes, but at least they've got personality. I'm not supposed to like it because I'm a 35-year-old man. I'm not a 19, 20-year-old kid. And so at least its personality, they're showing a fun side, and they're able to kind of almost take the piss out of each other a little bit. Because I do think they are doing that. I do think there's a slight bit of it of poking fun at each other. And then, you've got managers with personality in people like Guardiola and Klopp there that have this. You've got Guardiola fucking shouting at opposing team players because he didn't think that they were playing well enough, like they did last season when he played them, which is fantastic. And you've got, it's, and it might drive other people mad, other teams. Fans mad when Klopp is getting so animated on what is it, but I love it. I want that passion.
Klopp's fucking hilarious, man. Like I'm not going to have anyone say bad shit about Klopp.
And the fact that he can get a bit sniffy and a bit snipey, the fact that he did about West Brom and said, the fact that West Brom didn't water the pitch during half time, which I've been watching football. A lot of football for a lot of years, and every fucking team in every country waters the pitch at half time. You just do it. West Brom didn't, and that's their want. They're allowed to do that. I am not criticising them. It was a good idea with the way we play and the way they play, but Klopp is quite right to come out and say, that was a bit, we didn't expect that. It's really annoying, but if they want to not water the pitch, then they can not water the pitch. It's up to them. They can have a dry pitch. And next season they can have the driest pitch in the Championship. And it's just, it's a little bit like, oh, that's nasty, but well done.
Yeah.
And, it's, when you've got managers, and I'm not doing this just from a Liverpool-centric point of view, because I think that people who know when I talk about football, I am not... I like football, and I support my team.
Tribalism's not your thing. Yeah.
Tribalism isn't my thing.
Yeah.
I will never understand it when people celebrate other people's teams getting beat when it's not by their team. It baffles me. But Conte could not seem more like he doesn't want to be at a club at all. Short of literally fucking turning up in an Arsenal kit one week, a Liverpool kit the next week, and a United kit the week after. That man could not do much more to kind of highlight the fact that he fucking doesn't want to be there. And Mourinho just seems like he doesn't want to be a football manager anymore. He just doesn't give a fuck anymore. It's almost like it's broken him. And it's but it's an addiction for him. He needs it to feed this, whatever it is, call it ego or just want. It is just that. But I do think he is, and this comes from a non-Man United fan, but I do think he's fucking toxic for that club at the moment. I have never seen Old Trafford as empty in the past 20 years as it was with 15 minutes left against West Brom. It was a sight to see, and I'm surprised more wasn't made of it. And then after it, when they speak to the Manchester United manager, a club that prides themselves, and fans pride themselves, and quite rightly so, pride themselves on saying that they're arguably the biggest club in the world. They're not. Real Madrid or Barcelona are. But they have a right to say that because they could make a very convincing argument that they are. And even the most staunch Liverpool fans would struggle to argue with it. Comes out and basically defends his record of winning leagues. I was sat there and angry watching it. 4 Man United fans going, you deserve better than this. please go out and get Pochettino, because he's ideal for you. Go out, get him there, and please finish a very gallant second to Liverpool, but stop with this, because it is horrible.
I like that idea, Pochettino. Like,
it makes sense for United. He really does.
Next season, Mourinho, has one more crack at it. Doesn't quite get over the edge. Spurs don't do anything again.
Pochettino's got 1 foot out the door. Pochettino's got 1 foot out of the door because he knows he can't win things with Tottenham. That's not to say Tottenham can't win things, but I don't think he believes that he can win things with Tottenham quick enough to enhance his reputation. He won't go to Barcelona because of his Espanyol connections. He's too smart to go to Real Madrid.
Yeah.
Bayern Munich will not hire outside of somebody who has experience of German football again after what happened with Pep Guardiola. Therefore, it's that. I think Mourinho looks at it. I don't think United was what he expected. I don't think he expected to get questioned by the fans so often about his style of football. This is a fan base who were treated to some of incredible football for 20 odd years under Ferguson. Fuck, I used to love watching Manchester United, and I'm a Liverpool fan under Fergie because it was breathtaking to watch sometimes. And he doesn't like the fact that he can't get past Guardiola, and that rankles with him. So if he quits, he's giving in. If he gets fired, it's, well, they didn't support me, they didn't back me. Hang on a minute, Jose, they give you a shitload of money. Yeah, and he can make his own narrative of it. And that's all he's about. He's about creating his narrative, his Manchester United, his glory, and it is beneath Manchester United.
Yeah, I kind of don't have anything to add there. Like, the fact that every single time it's defending himself or saying people don't give us enough credit, it's delete as appropriate depending on whether the result was good or bad. Yeah, I like that Pochettino idea.
I had a Manchester United friend of mine who said to me, "Yeah, but this season we'll probably end up with the the FA Cup, and you'll all and we'll finish second, and you'll in all likelihood end up with nothing and finish third." It's like, but yeah. That is a very plausible scenario.
Has it been more entertaining to watch Liverpool or United the last few fucking seasons?
That's
Jesus
my point.
Christ.
But I've had a fucking great time this season.
Yeah.
I've had a brilliant time this season. It's been what being a football fan is about. And if your only thing of being a football fan is about at the end of the season saying we won that, and that, then you are missing the fucking point.
It's fair. I don't know. I mean, I think second and an FA Cup versus sixth, a Europa League and a League Cup. It's given the way that United, as soon as Mourinho calculated that the Europa League was the best chance getting into the Champions League, the end of last season for United, like the last 6 weeks or so, were a fucking just a death chorus.
And it was. It's a false position, that sixth from last season. They could have finished. The thing is, they were probably going to finish a very nice fifth. They could have had a push for top four, but it just, Mourinho did look at it and say this Europa League is easy to win, and it was easy to win.
He did the calculations and he got it right, and that's what he's there for. But like you say, when it does come to the entertainment factor, I mean, it is pretty. At least the second half of the season has been pretty fucking joyless.
It has, and people have said to me about Liverpool. Said, you take Mo Salah out of that team, and what have you got? I was like, well, you've still got Roberto Firmino on 25 goals and 17 assists, and you've still got Sadio Mane on 18 goals and 14 assists. So, yeah, you've taken away a lot, over 50 goals in terms of assists and actual goals. So, yeah, you have got that. But a counter-argument to that is you take away David De Gea and United are a different team, and the guy is the best keeper in the world by a long stretch.
You take away David De Gea and United would be so much further behind than they are now, because we wouldn't have had a fucking whiff of decent European football in a number of fucking years.
It's there's a rebuild job there at United, but you don't want a manager like Mourinho to rebuild you a team. Because he's saying about what it's, I'm having to play with, footballers, players, defenders that were here when Alex Ferguson was here. You've bought centre-backs. You have bought them. You bought Lindelof and then not played him. And you spent an awful lot of money on him. So was it 28 million?
Yeah.
That's an insane amount of money for a player who you don't want to play.
I actually kind of forgot he was there.
Yeah, exactly. It's fucking
Lindelof.
It's an oddity at the moment. United. It's a club that looks to be battling with itself at the moment. And if you look back, that's what happened with Mourinho at Chelsea, Part 2. That's what happened with Mourinho at Real Madrid. That's what happened with Mourinho at Inter. That's what happened with Mourinho at Chelsea, Part 1. That's what he does. And it's why it's why Alex Ferguson and Bobby Charlton were saying to the board, good manager, not right for us.
I'm just glad that it's not going to be a case of give it Giggsy when the next one comes along. Like,
no, I do think that I do think that with Pochettino's comments after the United game, there'll have been some ears will have pricked up in my United boardroom. I would think that probably not this summer, but next summer, Pochettino will become the Manchester United manager. It just makes sense.
I bet you can get some good odds on that at the moment.
Yeah, but I that's my prediction is Maurizio Pochettino will be the next Manchester United manager.
The last thing before we move on to films.
Yes.
I just have to ask one question.
Go on.
What pictures did Ellis Short have of Chris Coleman that made Chris Coleman take that job?
It's a very strange one, isn't it? Because Sunderland were, they're a team. They're like a snowball, just gathering more and more momentum, going down. And Coleman turned down some decent jobs.
That's the fucking crazy thing. That guy had more heat than he will ever have for the rest of his career.
Chris Coleman's a strange one in the sense that I think Chris Coleman is a thoroughly decent guy. I thought he was a good footballer. He talks with a passion. He talks sense, but I think he's from that crop of British managers that were players in the late 80s to late 90s who, and part of this is the Arsene Wenger effect, bringing it full circle back round, in that they convince themselves that they're a lot smarter than they are through sheer force of ego and confidence. You have to be unbelievably confident to be a professional footballer. Like on a different fucking level. You have to be unbelievably confident because you have to, the way that you prove yourself at being, and I was a very good footballer, the way you prove yourself at being an elite footballer is when you're 13, you're thrown into an under-19s game or or a men's game. I played for a local men's team when I was 13, and I wasn't a big 13 at all. And I had to mix it with that. And I remember shouting at a guy who was actually my godfather. That's how much older he was than me. Yeah. That he wasn't passing the ball to me quick enough with such a ferocity that I got booked for it. And then my dad, who was manager of the men's team, hooked me because he thought I was going to get sent off because I was going in too hard on guys that were quite literally half my size. And I'm not a cocky person. I don't think I am anyway. But on a football pitch, I become an arsehole. And I was a lot worse then than I am now, and I'm still a prick if I'm playing football. And I would not have become a Premier League level footballer. You have to have such self-confidence, and then that breeds into to managers also. Managers have to be pricks. You have to be a bit of a prick to be a manager, because essentially you have to say, I know more than everybody else here. Mm. And knowing more doesn't mean to say that you know more than them. Knowing more can mean, I know more than you. I know enough that I need this guy, this guy, this guy, and this guy to help me know more than you. Mm. You know, and then you get people like Big Fat Sam, who just need a pint of wine and some gravy.
Oh, fucking Sam Allardyce. I mean, what was it? Did Ellis Short just offer him, like, you get us an immediate return to the Premier League and you will get the biggest fucking...
2 million. 2 million was the, what is it? There's a 1.5 million signing on fee, so he literally got a 1.5 million to join. Because managing Wales don't pay that much.
Yeah, sure.
It don't.
Sure.
So he took that. He was on more at Sunderland than some Premier League managers are on. And not like 1 or 2, 5 or 6.
That's fucked.
And if they got into the playoffs, I think he got 1 million. And if they got promoted into the Premier League via any avenue, he got a 2 million bonus.
That's fucking... And now it's like...
League One.
I don't know, and like with Sunderland, I mean, like, what, they can't afford to fucking pay him off the rest of his contract, can they?
I think he gets, if he wants to walk, he gets 500,000.
I just feel so sorry for Sunderland fans.
Ellis Short didn't know relegations existed until 3 months after he bought Sunderland.
Nice.
Same thing happened with Venky's. Venky's who used to still own part of Blackburn. Venky's didn't know what relegation was until they were relegated, and then asked why people were saying that they were going to play in the Championship the next season.
It was like, what do you mean the fixture list has come out and we're not playing United at Old Trafford?
Literally, somebody apparently, this is one of those things that has been virtually confirmed by people. This wasn't done behind closed doors. This was done in a press room. Was somebody had to explain to them that no, you're relegated. You're out of the Premier League. You don't play in it next season. And they then said, oh no, we just have to do this, this, and this. Like, no, that's it. You're out of it. Another team comes in, you go out. They thought it was we've got the stadium, we've got the players. They thought it was like American football.
Yeah, yeah. But even though it just reminded me though, did you hear that Chris Coleman apparently was in post-match interviews on Saturday first off saying, "What do you mean we're down? No, we're not." He didn't realise that. What is it? Bolton still had to play. They still had to play. It's the game on Saturday. It's like if one of them loses, then they're down.
Yeah.
Burton.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. And somebody had to take him to one side and actually explain that no, you don't have enough points because of that game. You're down.
It's sad because they were a Premier League club, like a proper Premier League club.
Yeah, and they
should be.
They had that slippery for a few years they just about managed to scrape out of it, and
it's what happens when you get a collection of managers, so Steve Bruce and David Moyes, when you get a collection of managers who can't see beyond what they already know. So they go out and buy, David Moyes bought Paddy McNair from Manchester United. And Paddy McNair has said that he literally had to sit down and explain at one point to David Moyes. This was after he'd had him at United and then signed him for Sunderland, that he was a central midfielder who would occasionally play for the youth team at central defence. He wasn't a central defender. Yeah. He was a centre mid. And David Moyes didn't know that.
David Moyes is another fucking story, man. I'm already nailed on. If he's not the first manager dismissed next season, it's going to be fucking staggering. Like,
I don't think he's going to be West Ham manager come the start of the season.
Fucking the fact that there's even word that they're thinking of letting him. Like, with that atmosphere at West Ham at the moment, it's like, fucking what?
West Ham's always got a bad atmosphere because their fans quite simply do not know what they want. I don't know. They want better. I don't know. Well, everybody deserves better than David Moyes. Apart from Everton, everybody deserves better than David Moyes.
David Moyes. I've never seen a man age as fast as he did at that year in United.
He did. He did.
That was that was fucking staggering.
One of the best things, and we will go to football in a second, I will just say this, one of the best things I ever saw of David Moyes was when he was talking about revolutionising Manchester United's scouting systems, right? They didn't need revolutionising Manchester United scouting systems, they were fine. But he talked about it, and somebody said, well, what have you done? And his response was he looked at the guy who's interviewing him, like, shit, I didn't expect a follow-up question to this.
Right.
And he just looked at him for a few seconds with the big, weird fucking eyes he's got, nodded, and went, iPads. iPads. 6 of them. I thought, that's really specific.
6 iPads.
6 and then he was like, the guy who's interviewing just thought, I don't want to continue this because I feel like I've got you on the ropes and it's unfair. Yeah. And he went, okay, right. And he just went, yep. And he thought, 6. It's like he went into a car phone warehouse to upgrade his daughter's phone or something like that. And he was prattling about one of the iPads and they went, oh, have you got an iPad? And he went, no. And then he went through the credit check and he went, oh, you qualified for 6. And he went, yeah, I'll take them. And he's turned up and gone, look, guys, I got these 6 iPads.
One for each continent.
It's like, we can do things with these. Look, you can do all this with them. They've gone, oh, great, yeah, just stick them in that room there. What's that? It's the fucking scouting room. It's fine. iPads.
I'm enjoying this.
We've done 40 minutes and we haven't talked about film yet. Apologies for the people who've tuned into the Monkey the Film podcast.
I'm finding it quite freeing. In all honesty, it's nice. It's just a chat. Okay, trailers. What have we got?
We have the new Deadpool trailer, the final Deadpool trailer.
Rob Delaney.
Yes.
Very, very pleased about that.
Yeah, that was great. I must admit, I was very on board with that when that came out.
It does. I have to wonder whether literally he's going to be in the interview scene, cut to them on the aeroplane, and then he goes splat or something. I do wonder.
I wonder if that's probably going to be the only bit he has where he speaks, and then the rest of it is just going to be him doing stuff in the background.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a laugh.
It's going to be. I do enjoy the fact that that he refers to Josh Brolin as Thanos.
Yeah.
And he Goonies him as well.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, we've got the poking fun at the DC universe.
It is fucking weird that Josh Brolin is playing a villain in 2 Marvel films released about 3 weeks apart.
Yeah.
Like, it is a little bit like, have we actually run out of actors? Or
I get the feeling that Josh Brolin, they cast Josh Brolin as Thanos so long ago.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely.
That I think that they kind of forgot that he was Thanos until they needed him again, and then looked at it and went, who did we cast as Thanos again? Oh, fuck, it's Josh Brolin, isn't it? Yeah, of course it is.
Yeah, interesting. What else have we got?
The Equalizer 2.
Hell yes. The sequel no one asked for, but I'm going to watch the fuck out of.
Yep. I'm down with that shit.
Yeah, looking forward to that.
Yeah, what else was there? There was something else. I'm sure there was something else that I watched. No, I think that might have been it, actually.
Yeah, I think that was actually it for me as well, weirdly. Okay, cool. All right, well, let's not overextend things unnecessarily. So, let's talk about Beyond Skyline, which is written and directed by Liam O'Donnell and stars Frank Grillo. Iko Uwais is what I'm going for.
That's what I'd have gone for.
Cool.
In my brain, it'd have come out completely fucking different out of my mouth.
No, it would have. Yes, I think it would have just come out as Digimon Honsu, to be honest. And who else? I hope that made Noel laugh because I know he does like that. So let's see. Oh, actually, before I do anything, slight tangent again. I brought up an issue that I have with the Pepsi Max advert on in the cinema a couple weeks back, and I never actually got around to saying what it was.
Oh, yes.
And Paul wasn't very happy.
All right, cool.
So, right. Pepsi Max.
Yeah.
Great sugar-free cola taste.
Yeah.
The tagline, love it or taste it. So, hang on a second. If I taste Pepsi Max, I won't love it.
Because do you know what their new... They've actually changed, I think, now. Do you know what their new tagline is?
Go on.
Because why would we call something this good zero?
Yeah. I'm not a fan of... I'm more of a fan of that than love it or taste it. Because that actually seems like...
If you taste it, you won't love it?
If you're into this concept, you'll love it. You will fucking love Pepsi Max until you actually taste it.
Yeah. I think it tastes great.
That's the thing. I'm a fan of Pepsi Max as well. But up until that point, you're going to fucking love Pepsi Max. And then you're going to try some. And you're going to feel any emotion other than love. So I had to get, literally, I turned to Paul and said... So, hang on, does that mean that you won't love it then? And he just burst out laughing. And it was just like, that was the most entertained I was throughout that entire sitting of Ghost Stories, by the way. What a piece of shit that film was. Even though I've had people actually pipe up on Twitter about disagreeing, and that's absolutely fine. If you like quiet, bang, jump scares, then good on you. Yeah. So, Beyond Skyline stars a bunch of people, including the aforementioned ones. So, it's a sequel to Skyline. So, aliens beam down these lights that draw people in like moths and then suck them up into a spaceship. Frank Grillo is an alcoholic ex-detective who has a grown-up son who he doesn't really get on very well with. grown-up son gets taken up in big spaceship. Frank Grillo goes along for the ride as well. And Eric Balfour, unfortunately, I don't believe provided the suit action for this. But what I assume is his character is up in the spaceship, and the alien has his brain, and his brain's kind of rejected the alien and helps Frank Grillo. And then Iko Uwais comes into it, because why the fuck not? And the third act takes place in Asia.
Vietnam.
And it's not Platoon.
Nope.
No. So Beyond Skyline is a sequel that I don't think anyone really expected. I don't think anyone was particularly bothered about, but it's been getting some good word on the old Twitters and whatnot. Mark, what did you think of Beyond Skyline?
It's high concept. It's very high concept. There's an awful lot happening. There's an awful lot of ideas happening with Beyond Skyline. In terms of for what they're trying to do and what it's trying to say. I'm not sure there's, I would think that if you sat Liam McDonald down, he'd try and say, this means this, and this means this, and this means this. And I would be there going, yeah, I don't think it does, but I can see why you would try to make me think that. I think it's just cool sci-fi, but it's high concept cool sci-fi. Frank Grillo is one of those people who is just fucking cool in things. Yeah. That's why he's become, it's one of the things. Does Frank Grillo make good movies? Yes. Does Frank Grillo make a lot of movies? He actually does make quite a lot of movies. Mm-hmm. Are they always good? No. Do we always watch them? No. Yes. Mm-hmm. Because one, he's handsome as fuck. Two, he always seems really fucking badass. And three, he's an interesting screen presence. I like Frank Grillo. I like the fact that he's best mates with Joe Carnahan, and they have a production company called War Party. Yeah, that's fucking cool. Yeah. Anything that War Party are doing a movie called Boss Level at the moment, and it looks fucking brilliant. Yeah. I'm fine with that. And I think if you watch the trailer for Beyond Skyline, you're expecting a much different movie to what you actually get, because you get a high concept sci-fi movie that then literally crashes into a modern Asian action martial arts movie. Not a martial arts movie that we remember from the 80s, where it's Jean-Claude Van Damme doing splits on countertops and things like that, or Steven Seagal standing still, moving his arms very quickly so that people don't realise he's fat. It's high octane, but grounded in a semblance of reality, because the guys are usually fucking drug dealers, which these are. But it's a martial arts movie, and you've got Iko Uwais, doing martial arts on really big aliens, which is weird. It's really jarring. And
you've got that sketchy long-haired dude from The Raid in it as well. And it's like, as soon as he comes up, it's like, he's going to do something at some point.
Yeah, he's not going to die in that cell and then not do anything.
Yeah,
he's going to do something where you look at it and go, at some point, his hair is going to be all in his face. He's going to tilt his head forward. He's going to lean forward and then do something really fucking quick that you're going to go, that was badass.
Yeah. And I mean, to be fair, his character gets quite the send-off in this fucking weird tribute to Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
It is it is the fact that he's still going with that. But I mean, it's him and Iko Uwais. They do all the choreography, didn't they?
Oh, did that? Okay.
They do all the fight choreography for it. Not just for their scenes, for the whole thing. And they do a lot of fight choreography for a lot of movies now, apparently.
That's great. I mean, that's the thing. There's a level of actually decent quality action cinema in that last third there. The climax is genuinely blood pumping,
Yeah, there are a few. There's a few fucking weird bits in this movie, though, isn't there?
Yeah.
Like the fact that they do actually use quite a lot of footage from Skyline.
Yeah.
Not only that, they use some of the characters, but they recast them and reshoot scenes.
Yeah.
And it's like, hang on a minute, right? You've shown us like essentially SFX shots from Skyline, but you can't show Eric Balfour from Skyline. And is it what's the name? Scotty Thompson. You can't show either of them. Why? They've not got on to be massive stars, have they? Let's face it. You quite easily. I know it's like people say, well, it's 7 years after, but it's set like at the same time. See, well, I doubt they look that much older that you couldn't just fucking get away with it.
Fucking makeup on them, job done.
Yeah, that was weird that they were recast.
I mean, it's a fucking Frankenstein's monster of a film, is this?
Absolutely, it really is. Yeah.
Like that first third or so is like a weird, like sped up, loose remake of Skyline. The second third is like this really fucking grim, ultra-violent Saturday morning sci-fi cartoon.
Yeah.
Which I'll be honest, I think you'll know the bit I'm referring to. I skipped a couple of minutes because I could see where something was going, and it was just like, no, I'm not fucking
comfortable with that.
Yeah, no. And then it just turns into this kind of kick-ass, like almost kind of like Indonesian modern action movie at the end, like The Raid or like Headshot or something like that. But it's fucking mental. And but the thing is, it feels to me like some producer was just like, right, Liam O'Donnell, you helped with Skyline, didn't you? Yeah, I did, yeah. Brothers Strauss, are you alright letting them do this? Yeah, fine, fucking whatever, we don't care. Right, okay.
We're off doing all the special effects for films like Rampage and the Marvel movies and things like that.
Yeah, exactly. Like, we've tried the old directing thing, it hasn't really worked out that well. Fucking, we'll just go back to what we know. Right, Liam O'Donnell, what can you get us? Right, guys, I got a green screen. I got Frank Grillo. I got an alien costume with some stilts. And I've got connections in Asia. I can write Beyond Skyline.
Yeah.
That genuinely, it feels like tick boxes there, and it's such a rough and ready kind of production. You got those outtakes at the end, which are fucking amazing. I mean, like the balls to do that.
Yeah, it's so weird to have that in that type of movie.
Yeah, it really, because the film itself is quite. It's quite a serious... I'm not going to say it's po-faced, but it's quite a serious sci-fi action film.
Yeah.
And then you've got these jokey outtakes, like the title card, like the Beyond Skyline title card at the end. It's like just this fucking like thing falling apart, and then Beyond Skyline coming up on the screen, and just Frank Grillo saying like, "You are the worst alien I ever." Just whether. I don't know. It's this fucking ramshackle, let's put on a show thing.
Yeah.
But I found it quite endearing, like the first one, but in a different way. The first one feels like we've got, because it was shot in like one of the brothers' house or his apartment. Over the space of a few weeks, and then they just kind of like did the visual effects like in-house and whatnot.
Yeah, they did the visual effects whilst they were doing the visual effects
Battle Los Angeles.
Was it Battle Los Angeles? Was it, yeah.
And then the producers of that sued them for basically going, you made effects for Skyline on Battle Los Angeles time.
Yeah.
And I think that got thrown out. I don't think that actually came into anything, but it was like a film they basically made in their spare time. And this doesn't feel like that, but it does feel like I've got some random fucking elements I can chuck together at this thing, guys. Let's do this, you know. And, but
some of it will stick, and a lot of it won't. But fuck it.
Yeah, but it's fun.
It is a lot of fun. It really is. It's like you say. It's oddly endearing in the fact that you're watching it going. At any point, this is going to fall apart. This is going to fall apart. This is going to fall apart, and it never dips below being entertaining enough to fall apart. I think a lot of that is because you've got Frank Grillo there, and then you've got Iko Uwais there, and you know, for that point, you're thinking at any moment now he's going to do something fucking badass.
I mean, there is one of the best examples of that escalated quickly I've seen in quite some time. That where they just start going off on each other, and the two girls start having a fight as well. And it's like, what the fuck is going on? Why are you guys now suddenly trying to kill each other?
And then literally seconds later, they're just bezies again.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just like, right, okay, I very much understand the want to see Frank Grillo have a fight with Iko Uwais, but it's like, there's no fucking justification for this whatsoever. I mean, it's amazing and bravo, but what?
Yep.
Yeah, but I think I'd go definitely not shit.
I'm going definitely not shit on it because I don't think it's shit. The high concept sci-fi stuff is really the thing is with high concept sci-fi is it doesn't need to land perfect. It needs to make sense. This does kind of make sense. And then the action stuff happens, and you go, that's pretty fucking cool.
And by the end, when they're teasing the third part with it's been done in Transformers, it's been done in Independence Day, now they're doing it in Skyline, we're going to take the fight to them. And it's like, do you know what? Yeah, I'll watch that. Can I have some martial arts on an alien planet, please?
And you know what? I could see them. I could see Netflix going, right, let's really kind of like push this, like we would do a Netflix film, and then go in, fuck it. We'll give you a Skyline 3. How much do you need? 30 million, 40 million? There you go. Bang.
30 million, 40 million, they'd be fucking laughing.
Yep.
Like...
Because this cost 20 million.
Did it really?
$20 million, yeah.
Right, fair enough.
And it looks... it looks good.
It looks all right. I'm kind of... This costs more than The Shape of Water.
Well, yeah, there is that, but then again, you've got The Shape of Water is designed by Guillermo del Toro. This guy is designed by Liam O'Donnell.
Yeah, no, fair enough. But I mean, you know, good on Liam O'Donnell. He's made a fun, silly B movie, which I entirely think was what he was trying to do.
Absolutely, yeah. And I'm with you. I'm definitely not shit on it. Our audience vote was, let me double check. Where is it? Come on. Silly phone not working. Audience vote was definitely not shit 40%. This is really fucking interesting, actually. Definitely not shit 40%. Touching cloth 20%. Shit 0%.
Okay.
And Geostorm 40%.
Yeah.
That's fair enough.
Yeah, you could totally see someone giving this a Geostorm rating.
Yeah, and I would totally say to them, yes, you're fighting with that. I'm definitely not shit because I really quite enjoyed it. But yeah, I can see your point.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, that's interesting. I think it might be like one of the first ones we've ever had that had 0% definitely shit.
Yeah.
Good on you, Bill on Skyline. Like I say, it's on Netflix UK. I'm sure it's on streaming services worldwide, and worth your time.
Yep.
Okay, so let's move on. So neither of us have much what we watched, but we'll do a bit. So what have you got there, Mark?
I watched Skyline.
Okay, all right, yes.
Yeah, I remember actually really quite enjoying Skyline when I first watched it, in the sense that I went in there expecting very, very little and got, easily enough from it. So I was pleasantly surprised for it. It's high concept sci-fi. I can see what they've done. They've used their skills sets as FX guys to create a movie around doing that and saying, look what we can design that looks really fucking cool. And then they've written a kind of story around that, and it makes sense. But it's a solid watch. It still holds up. It's about the right length. The cast are all okay. They're not adorning our screens regularly, so that kind of gives you an idea.
Mm-hmm.
I actually don't mind Eric Balafour as an actor. Actually, I quite enjoy him and stuff. His odd face I find quite comforting. Skyline is. I enjoyed my rewatch of it. I rented it on iTunes for $3.49. I could have bought it for $5.99. I think I made the right choice in renting it.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
Is what I will say there. What else did I watch? Oh, I also another Frank Grillo looking fucking cool and stuff. In anticipation for the upcoming Avengers Infinity War, I've decided to watch a couple of the MCU universe films rather than rewatching all of them because I don't have time and I don't want to.
Fucking seriously, just on that, that's that was the kind of thing I used to do. Like before Avengers: Age of Ultron, I'm pretty sure I watched all the ones leading up to that, and it's just like it's forcing it. It is fucking forcing it. Like,
as well, I will raise a point here in the fact that is there 3 this year? There was 3 last year, wasn't there?
Yeah, I think they're 3 pretty set now. Yeah,
right. But these are quite close together, aren't they? Black Panther and this.
Yeah. Well,
so my thing there is without question, you have to have seen Black Panther for Infinity War.
It does kind of. It seems that a lot of the third act takes place in Wakanda. Yeah.
Yeah. So, what if you haven't? I know that there's not a lot of people that haven't. But what if you haven't? You haven't given people a chance to catch up with these movies on, home viewing. Then I suppose you could claim, well, they'll just watch Infinity War on home viewing. So that's fair enough. But it's just, it's only like a couple of months, like 3 months between them. It just feels like if you'd given it that extra month, you could have released Black Panther on home viewing like a week before. There you go.
Yeah.
But they didn't want to do that.
Yeah. It's well, I mean, like, to be, I don't know. It's interesting because like Ant-Man and the Wasp comes out in June, July time, and it's like, right, you're barely halfway through the year. We're done with Marvel Studios films anyway. And now there's not going to be another one until the turn of the next year. And I mean, it's like with fucking Solo. You had Last Jedi in December, Solo in May, and then there's not another Star Wars film for a solid 18, 19 months.
It is a little bit like, well, what happens beyond fucking what are the big movies? What's the big August movie this year?
Yeah, shit, man. Fuck knows. There's the Meg. I mean, for us, the Meg.
Yeah, that's it. It does seem like everything's crammed into before the kids go on holiday. It's really weird.
It's the World Cup. I mean, the world. Every 2 years, cinema schedules in the UK get a bit fucked by the World Cup. So Jurassic Park: Fallen Kingdom comes out here like 2 weeks before the US because they're doing it before the World Cup. Incredibles 2 comes out like a month after the US because of the World Cup. So there are things like that there. But I think Ant-Man and the Wasp actually is out over here after the US because of the World Cup. So yeah, but that's the thing. It does just feel like Hollywood is shooting its fucking load in the first half of the summer blockbuster season, and there's really fuck all else for the rest of it.
Yeah, but then again, I'm still be looking forward to the other half of the year. So yeah, that's right. So I'm picking out ones that I want to rewatch rather than ones that I think will enhance my viewing of Infinity War, because I've seen all the Marvel ones. So even if I rewatch them all the week before, I'm probably still not gonna remember all of the fucking threads because you're watching them in such a cluster that they all kind of meld into one. I pretty much know what's going on in them. So I rewatched The Winter Soldier because everybody always puts it within. It's one of those that is. If the Marvel movie rankings were a preferential ballot, this would be like number 1 or number 2 because it's always really high up in people's lists. And I was a little bit like, yeah, it was all right because it was sold to me like, oh, it's like a 70s espionage film, and then I watched it and went, nope, it's like a Marvel film. And then I thought, right. Well, I really, really enjoyed Civil War. And I'm really quite pumped for Infinity War there. So fuck it, I'm going to give Winter Soldier another go. And I rewatched it, and I got more of that espionage thing there. I still do think it is a Marvel film, but then again, it is a Marvel film, and that's not actually a fucking criticism, because this is a Marvel universe. It should feel like a Marvel film. So what I'm actually saying is don't fucking sell me it as like it's a 70s espionage film. Like, don't sell me that. Sell me it's a really fucking good Marvel movie, because I'm fine with that. And it's a really solid movie. Is it as good as Civil War? No, it's not. But it's really fucking solid. I thoroughly enjoyed my time with it. Again, it's 2.5 hours long. It doesn't feel like it. It establishes, for me anyway, Captain America as the most interesting of the Avengers, and the Avengers outside the Avengers, this current crop of all the Marvel characters. I think it establishes him as having the most depth to him in the way they're doing it within this universe. I can see why it's pretty much confirmed that he's going to, the fact that Chris Evans has said, this, Infinity War, this is it, I'm done with Captain America now. Pretty much establishes that he's going to die in this one or the next one. And I have a feeling it might be this one. And that will be fucking heartbreaking, because I think he's the character that personally I've gone on most of a journey with, especially with this. And then I think, having watched Civil War and got his character in that, which is quite a heartbreaking character, I think, in that. There's a real crux to that, of a man who is he's caught between the world he knew and the world he's existing in now, and he doesn't know which one he closely resembles to. And he's so, with Bucky, he's so trying to hold on to his past that he's willing to forsake what he's got now, and there's that, and the kind of foundations for that are laid much more in this than I remember.
Oh no, I mean the whole, like, he's my friend, so was I.
So that's horrible, and the fact that I think that's the moment that kind of breaks Tony Stark.
And I think that's interesting, because I swear in the marketing for Civil War they had that line, but it was an alternate line delivery of Downey's, and it was almost like a bit more kind of badass. Whereas in this, it's hurt. Yeah. And I rewatched Civil War not long back, and
I did as well.
I fucking adore that film, and just that's the thing. That climactic fight is not things falling down on other things.
No, I think we spoke about this quite recently. It's cinematic.
Yeah, it is, and it's got
really cinematic.
It's got emotional heft.
I still think there's a moment, and I still think, I can't remember it now, but where there's a great shot, and it should linger for another 3 or 4 seconds, but it then cuts to Daniel Bruhl on a fucking mountain. And it's like, no, you got it perfect, and then do you know what? I don't give a shit if it ever added another 15 seconds at the fucking runtime. It was a beautiful shot, and you've edited it at the wrong time. But yeah, that's one of the best moments of these Marvel movies so far, is that fight, because there's an emotion and a rawness to it that is missing from the more colder, things falling from the sky. It's the Russo brothers. They're treating an audience with a lot more intelligence than I think often the Marvel movies are given credit for. And I think that, to be honest, I think that the earlier Marvel movies didn't do. Not a criticism, because what they did was they really entertained people to get them invested in this, and then they've started adding. People will criticize the darkness of the DCU, but the Marvel universe has become very dark, but it's a more controlled darkness to it rather than an enforced darkness, and it makes more sense. And yeah, I do think that Cap has become the one that we've. I think universally people have kind of gone, right, this is where we've gravitated towards.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose this is the last show pre-Infinity War, so I just want to say now, if they are going to kill anyone in it, I fucking hope they actually mean it.
Yeah, the tickling the balls in Civil War about killing off Captain America, about killing off Iron Man, and then pussing out of it a little bit, I think.
It's like if there's any fucking, using the stones to fucking reverse some shit, or, it just, I don't know, you didn't even have the balls to kill off fucking Agent Coulson. Come on, fucking do something that actually means something.
Yeah. And I could see them doing that in this one. But like you say, if, let's say, purely hypothetical, they kill off Cap in the climax of this, and then 5 scenes into part 2, he's back again, or he's back in the marketing for that. It'll be a little bit like, right, you haven't quite got the balls to push forward these characters that you're already pushing forward.
I mean, I suppose, apparently the spoiler for, the title for Avengers 4 is a spoiler. I'm assuming we'll find that out at the end of Infinity War. But, I don't know, it would be, I don't know, I mean, what's it going to be, the death of Tony Stark or something like that, you know what I mean? It's what could they fucking do? Unless there is a, the Skrulls seem to be what's rumoured to be the next big thing after Thanos, and I think there's an event, there's a Marvel run called Secret Invasion, which is about Skrulls, and there's because apparently they're going to be in Captain Marvel, which I think is coming out before Avengers 4, because I think Captain Marvel's the first one next year. I just want to, okay, I'm going to say at the end of Infinity War, it's going to be Avengers Secret Invasion is going to be the title of Avengers 4. I think Thanos is in this one and then he's done. Because
you think he's done from Infinity War Part 1 and Part 2, or just Infinity War, that's it and he's done?
I think this is Infinity War. I don't think there is an Infinity War Part 2.
Because it was shot back to back, but you don't think they're parts 1 and Part 2 of the film.
No, because it just they haven't necessarily. I mean, that's the thing. It's who knows how long Josh Brolin was actually there for. I mean, at the end of the day, he was fucking mocap, so fuck knows. But it's they're keeping shit under wraps for Avengers 4, and it's just if it's 5-6 hours of Thanos. Now, this is supposed to be its own entity, this film.
Oh, that's really quite interesting. Yeah, I'd be very much up for that then.
It would be cool if it is right, that's that. We've been building up to this, and then if the next Avengers is the start of something else, which is going to kickstart shit. If this one is supposed to be the end of the road for a lot of characters, and then Avengers 4 is going to be the start for kind of the fresh take. I don't know. I mean, who knows? But and you never know. Maybe there is enough backstory on Thanos to span 2 films. I'm sure that. Do you know what? There probably is. But it would be great if they fucking pulled some sort of switcheroo. And apart from killing people, I don't know what kind of switcheroos they have in them at the moment.
You do feel like this needs to be the climax to something.
Yeah, that's it. But we'll see. We haven't got much longer to. When are you seeing it, by the way?
Oh, I don't know at the moment. I'm not sure at the moment.
Fuck.
Hopefully Thursday. I'll get to it, is what I'll say.
Okay. Interesting. Cool.
Yeah, Thursday. I'm going to say Thursday.
Okay.
I need to work out my work schedule to work out how to get to see it, because obviously we'll be reviewing it side by side.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, we've still got to work out logistics on that, like how we're going to get Noel in and whatnot, but yeah, we'll work something out. Cool, you got any others?
No, that's everything from me.
Cool. Okay, so I've only got 2, and then we'll start wrapping up. So I rewatched The Disaster Artist.
How did that hold up on a second watch?
To be honest, I've kind of taken against it a little bit.
Because I wasn't so sold on it.
No, I think it's kind of like the post-release, and not like the Franco sexual allegation stuff. Just the way that Franco's kind of was with Wiseau on the awards circuit and whatnot, and like the Golden Globes, like the fact that he just didn't let Wiseau speak, even though he got him up on the stage.
He used him as like a little bit of a puppet, like a comment, like look at the freak, look at what I have given you.
I think, yeah, and to be honest, I think there is an aspect of that in The Disaster Artist.
They're taking the piss out of him.
They are.
They're being holier than thou.
Yeah,
look at us really talented guys. Look at us really talented guys making a better movie out of the making of this idiot's movie that was shit, that you all think shit.
That's it.
You all think this movie is so shit that it is the shittest of the shit, therefore it is good. Yeah.
No, I mean, you got the talking heads at the start talking about it, and like, Adam Scott makes a good point about like, was it Adam Scott? I swear one of them says like, you could not remake The Room. It was just a combination of unique circumstances, and I think that's the point. But you got these people. And these people are watching it because they think it's shit and they're laughing at it. And, and like J.J. Abrams is there. It's like, what the fuck are you doing there? So, I mean, and you got this film where they are laughing at him. And, they wanted to disassociate themselves so much from Tommy Wiseau that Wiseau insisted on being in the film, and they put it in the post-credits bit. Which, is Wiseau just happy to be there? Would he not be a little bit insulted by that? That they can't be asked to write a proper thing for him, so they just have this really surreal thing in the post credits. It's and just the way that theatre reaction pans out, where it's like first off they're kind of like all like cringy and embarrassed, and then someone starts laughing, then they all start laughing at it, and it's just like that is so fucking Hollywood.
It's so fair. It was for me it was, oh fuck off. I've been in cinemas where an audience fully gets behind a group mentality, and it ain't like that.
No, I mean it's just the shots of people laughing just don't feel right.
People don't laugh like that.
No, that's exactly it. I don't know.
The most I have ever laughed in a movie at the cinema that I can remember, and it probably is the most I could ever laugh, or the way it gets you, and you literally cannot stop yourself from laughing, and it sometimes things just have you. Was 21 Jump Street, which I'm pretty sure I went straight into after watching The Raid, I think.
Okay.
And me and Bex went to see it. And we'd gone to see it. I'd wanted to see it for ages, and Bex was not keen. And I said, "Look, I will buy you dinner after this if you come and see this with me." And she was like, "That's fine. We'll go and see it." Because literally, we got out of. I'm pretty sure it was The Raid, and then went straight into that. No, it wasn't actually. It was something I got free tickets to. I think it might have actually been. Cabin in the Woods. And then we went straight into that. And the scene from where they are going to the high school for the first time to the end of the trip sequence, I was fucking gone. Like uncontrollable laughter. And it didn't look anything fucking like that scene in The Disaster Artist.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's I don't know. I think Franco is very good as Wiseau. I mean, like he's got the voice and the mannerisms down really well. But there's an almost self-reflexive level of fakery about the whole thing that does put me off. They seem to boil Wiseau down to mysterious guy who has a bit of a boner for his best friend and gets pissed off when his best friend gets embarrassed of him. But then also they don't criticise Greg Sestero enough, which is not surprising considering it's based on a book he co-wrote. But the fact that he does basically seem to want to dump Tommy. Like he's bad for his career. He's kind of bad for his relationship. He's basically Tommy gives him this place to stay. He gives him the confidence to go to LA and try to make things work. And then as soon as he starts getting roles, it's like people are telling him they should dump him, and he seems to be considering it. I don't know. The audience. I was in a jazzed audience for The Disaster Artist, and I think I might have let it sway me a bit.
Because hasn't Tommy Wiseau and Sestero got a new film coming out this year?
Probably.
I think they've got a new film coming out this year. That could end up destroying the whole fucking oeuvre of The Room. Because when people get there, and if it's good, then it's, why is this good? And if it's just shit, they're going to try and convince people, oh, look, it's like The Room, it's all over the place. It's like, and people go, no, it's just shit. And that's going to be the interesting bit of, you might see a bit of The Room backlash, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. But Disaster Artist, I don't know when I'll next watch it. I'll say that much. And my second and last thing for what we watched. So on Now TV, that got a month's pass because of Hurricane Heist, and I spotted Xavier Dolan's film "It's Only the End of the World."
Is that on Sky?
Yeah, it's on Now TV. Yeah.
Fuck.
I like Dolan. I've liked all the films of his I've watched. Heartbeats, Tom at the Farm, and Mommy. I think they're the only ones I've seen out there. So this is like his kind of big starry, like first starry one. So you got Marion Cotillard, Vincent Cassel, Léa Seydoux. Made me laugh as well. Deadline.com, quick tangent, had a headline yesterday about something Léa Seydoux's first major English language role. Yeah, she was only like the girl in the last Bond film.
Yeah, and she wasn't like when they had what's her name?
Monica
Bellucci, where she literally is in it for 5 minutes and then he's gone. She's quite a big character.
Yeah, she's a pretty fucking big character. So yeah, that was weird. Anyway, Léa Seydoux and others. So basically, it's about a guy who's going to his family home to visit. He's think he's a playwright or an author or something, but he's dying, and he wants to tell his family, but there are various family dynamics that are kind of keeping him from doing so. This won the Grand Prix, a Grand Jury Prize at Cannes. It was like the runner-up prize, basically, a couple of years back. And I remember seeing that the press room were not happy about it, and it didn't go down very well. And I mean, it's not. I don't think it's a bad film at all, but it is a bit of a come down from his previous work that I've seen. But it's also like an hour and a half, so it's not going to take that much time out of your life. So
yeah, because what aren't a lot of his other movies quite long?
Yeah, I mean, like I think Mommy was like 2 hours, and Heartbeats definitely was. So yeah, there is that aspect to them. This is actually fairly in and out, and the plot is quite simple. But it's this guy I meant to look up, Gaspar Ulliel, who I think was Hannibal Lecter in Hannibal Rising.
He was, yeah.
That's just come to me. I was thinking, I know this guy from somewhere, and it's literally just come to me now. So he's the main guy. And the thing is, he's the one who's like dying and wants to reconnect with his family, but he's also really static. And I think maybe that's the point, because like his family around him are far more kind of crazy. And Vincent Cassel's a hothead. And it just, his character doesn't have much oomph to him. And, instead it's kind of him just watching and reacting to those around him. And like I say, Vincent Cassel, just like the most generic Vincent Cassel role you could see given to him. It comes and goes, and it didn't really leave a mark, and Mommy certainly did it. Tom at the Farm is a great tense little thing. It was in one eye out the other, really. Didn't hate it, but there's not that much to it, and I could actually see how people at Cannes. I'm sure this was not the second best film in official competition at Cannes that year. I'm pretty. I'm gonna see. Right, when do I think that was then? 2016 maybe. I'm gonna go 2016. Right. Awards. Yeah, it was. So Daniel Blake won the Palme d'Or, which I haven't seen, but probably fair enough. Best Director, Christian Mungiu for Graduation, which I haven't seen. Olivier Assayas for Personal Shopper. Personal Shopper's good. The Salesman, that Asghar Farhadi film that won the Foreign Language Oscar. American Honey was in there. American Honey was...
I want to see American Honey, but it's 3 hours long.
Tony Erdmann.
You really liked that, didn't you?
Yeah, Tony Erdmann's fantastic. It's... I think there probably were better fucking films that year. Hey. So who was on the fucking jury that year then? Oh, George Miller was the fucking president. Oh, that's right. Yeah, George Miller was really not a fan of Tony Erdmann.
That kind of doesn't surprise me. Yeah,
no. Kirsten Dunst, Mads Mikkelsen, Donald Sutherland, Vanessa Paradis. That's a fucking trip. That is, fair dues. Okay, but yeah. Anyway, it's only the end of the world. It's not great. It's not terrible, but it's not great. It's the lesser of his films that I've seen so far. Okay, Twitter questions. We
have a few, yeah.
Right, are you going to be fucking self-indulgent enough to do the one that you fucking asked us?
Yep.
Right, okay. Go on.
Yes, audience. I asked us a question.
Go on.
Well, no one else was asking questions at the time, so I thought, fuck it, I'll ask one. Let me just find it.
I'll do it. Hey, guys, you have 3 directors in front... Hey, guys. You have 3 directors in front of you, and you can ask them each one question. Who are the directors, and what are the questions?
Do you know what's fucking really bad? You're reading it, I'm thinking, I didn't actually think of an answer for this, and I asked the question.
Fucking dickhead. Right, 3 directors in front of me, and I can ask them each one question. Okay. David Ayer.
Oh, nice, yeah.
I would ask him Jared Leto. Was he your choice?
Nice, I like that.
Yeah. Dario Argento.
Yep.
Do you think you've made anything in the last 20 years that can be considered good?
I think his answer would be no to that.
That's fine. I'd appreciate the honesty. And George Miller. Why did you like It's Only the End of the World more than Tony Erdmann?
Yeah. Mine would be Martin Scorsese. Which would my question? Martin Scorsese would be, what's your drunk movie watch? What movie do you stick on when you've had a few fucking drinks and you think, I want to watch that? Because I want to know what his drunk movie watch is. Because it's probably going to be some French New Wave movie from the fucking 50s. Whereas what I want him to say is something like Captain Ron or something like that. I want it to be something out of the fucking blue. So that'd be my Scorsese one. My other one would be Michael Mann. You can pick any event in world history to make a movie about. Pitch me the movie.
Oh, shit.
And cast it for me.
That's good.
Just to see what he comes up with on that spot. Because I guarantee you'd be there 2 hours later and you'd be going, why can't I watch this movie right now? Why can't I watch this movie right now, Michael? And the final one would be Sylvester Stallone. Why don't people talk about you more as a great director?
Very good.
And then I just want to hug him.
Very good.
Yep.
Very good. I like that. Just hug him. Yeah, absolutely.
I would. Do you know what? That my life would be complete if I got a good hug off Sylvester Stallone because I genuinely adore that man.
Yeah, good stuff. I like that. What else have we got?
We've got another 2, I believe.
Yeah. Fuck. I had it a second ago. I think somebody tweeted me and you instead of the account. Oh no, they did. House of Black Lanterns. It's not film related, but since you ask, in light of it being Record Store Day last weekend, what is the first single and the first album you ever bought, and what is your favourite soundtrack? My first single would be "Do the Bartman."
What's it?
Yeah.
Nice.
Got that on vinyl. That was good.
Yep. Go on.
Shit, my first album.
This is that you bought, not that was bought for you.
Right. Okay. So I think "Performance and Cocktails" by the Stereophonics, which is yeah.
That's the second one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Word Gets Round was the first one, wasn't it?
Indeed. Yeah.
That's not a bad one.
It's all right.
I was actually listening to Word Gets Around the other week, actually. That's a solid album.
Word Gets Around is fucking fantastic.
Yeah,
and
it's a great album.
Performance and Cocktails is alright, and then Jeep just goes off the fucking...
All the videos, I remember, for Performance and Cocktails, all the videos for that, the singles for that, were based around movies.
Yeah, Bartender and the Thief was Apocalypse Now, wasn't it?
It was Apocalypse Now, yeah.
Oh, you had the Italian Job one.
Yep. Which was... Pick Apart That's New.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah. Fucking, yeah, that's right.
Soundtrack.
I might listen to that album again. Soundtrack. So are we talking score or collection of songs?
Oh, I don't know. Have you got one for each?
Yeah, I'm trying to think about that. Because I mean, like Purple Rain's up there.
Ooh, that's a real. But you could call that both, couldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, okay, so that's my answer.
I think you've boxed that off a little bit there. Yeah. First single I ever bought was "The Way You Make Me Feel" by Michael Jackson.
That's fucking ace. Very good.
Yep. first album I bought was Suede, the first Suede album.
Shit. Fucking hell.
Yeah, it's fucking dark.
Actually, fuck. What came first? Hang on. Shit. I think I might have fucked that up. Hang on.
Wow, what do you think it was? What?
No, I need to look this up.
In terms of soundtrack / score, I think you've boxed it off with Purple Rain. That's a solid one. I have numerous scores, soundtracks on vinyl and a few scores. So I've got the score for Escape from New York. I've got all the Spaghetti Western ones, well, the Sergio Leone Spaghetti Western ones. I've got all of those, and they're fantastic to listen to. In soundtracks, I have the Fletch soundtrack.
Nice.
I do have the Fletch soundtrack on vinyl. I also have the City Slickers soundtrack on vinyl. Right? I bought that at the same time as I bought Miles Davis' Birth of the Cool, and I bought it with the City Slickers soundtrack.
That is a double bill.
And the guy at Earworm Records, which is my local independent record store that I frequent, went, you bought that, Birth of the Cool, you've birthed cool within yourself, and then you've bought that. You're an idiot. I was like, yeah. And he actually said to me, he said, I was putting that out, and as I put it out, I thought, I know which idiot's going to come in and buy this. I was like, I'm fine with that.
That's very good. No,
I also own the Dirty Dancing soundtrack parts 1 and 2
on vinyl. Of course you do.
Yep.
No, yeah, the Stereophonics, that was my first one. I was thinking there might have been something else, but that was later in the year. But it made me laugh as well. I'm just looking at the Performance of Cocktails on Wikipedia. The Rolling Stone review compared the band to Oasis, stating they sound like Oasis trying to be Radiohead. No, they don't.
They really don't.
What a fucking weird comment.
That was quite prevalent in music at a time, where it was basically saying one band and another weird band to go with it. It's like for a while everything was it's like Donnie Darko mixed with.
Yeah. No, you're right. I can't get my head around that, because Radiohead circa late 90s. I mean, what was that? Okay, so it would have been after OK Computer and before Kid A and Amnesiac.
Yeah.
So
it'd have been between OK Computer and Kid A, maybe around the same time as Kid A, maybe.
I mean, when was
Kid A was 99, I think.
Yeah. What, and Amnesiac was what, 2000? Wasn't Amnesiac like really shortly after Kid A? Because then Hail to the Thief, I think, was 2003.
I think so. I to be honest, I stopped giving a shit about Radiohead after Kid A, which I actually really liked Kid A.
Amnesiac was 2001.
2001, yeah. But I didn't get on with Amnesia. Kid A was 2000.
Yeah. Because I knew they were 1 year after the other. So, I mean, this was... How the fuck does Performance and Cocktails by Stereophonics sound in any way like they're trying to do Radiohead circa OK Computer?
Yes, because pick a part that's new and I Wouldn't Believe Your Wireless Radio.
Yeah,
which I believe are 2 songs from that album.
I mean, exit music for a film sounds just fucking like The Bartender and the Thief.
Yep.
It's uncanny.
Yeah, it's fucking weird at how similar they are. Jeez, I'm actually looking.
That's actually got me angry for some fucking reason.
There is not a single, what is it? You could maybe claim, I would say, claim that I Stopped to Fill My Car Up sounds a little bit Radioheady, which would be more Stereophonics trying to do Radiohead. And you could maybe claim that She Takes Her Clothes Off sounds like the Bends album, The Bends, and it's more mellow tones.
Yeah. But still, that's a fucking weird... That is just a lazy sounds like X trying to do Y.
Yeah.
Last question from Noel.
Yep.
Have you ever attempted to write a screenplay or piece of fictional writing you hoped would turn into one, and if so, what was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. I'm looking to have had one piece that I wrote performed as a play. I had a play performed on Radio 4 when I was 19. That I've sent into a competition, and it was the furniture in a dining room, sorry, in a study, having an argument about which was the most important piece of furniture.
That's pretty good. I like that.
So they're all having the argument about which one's the most important, and it was the clock, a chair, a stool that sat in the corner, and the companion set for the fireplace.
It's very good.
Yeah, there was that. The play that I had done was a play about four brothers who were having their final meal before all being simultaneously, or one after the other, executed for a crime they committed together, and they're having an argument about who's to blame.
Hell, that sounds intense.
It was quite intense, actually. Yeah, I wrote, directed, and took one of the smaller parts of one of the brothers in that.
Wow.
Yeah, that was quite good. But yeah, I completed a full screenplay of that. It's on a hard drive that I've got. It's probably fucking awful. But yeah, I've tried writing a couple of screenplays. I would quite like to try my hand at it again. I don't think anything would ever come of it, but it'd be quite entertaining. But I think I need to do one of those fucking courses or actually learn how to write an actual screenplay.
Yeah, I mean, I've also tried it and failed miserably, and that's all I'm going to say on the matter. Yeah. But thank you, Noel, and thank you to everybody for the questions apart from Mark.
Yes. You should thank me as well.
No, thank you.
I'm going to ask a question every week now.
No, you can answer it. So next week, yes, we are going to be recording in the same place. I'm not entirely sure what state I'm going to be in, but we're going to fucking do it. Oh God, I've got to fucking run 26 miles in 6 days.
26 miles. How long are you hoping it's going to take you?
If I do it in less than 5 hours, I'll be thrilled. I'm going to try and keep pace with the 4.5 hour pace setter for as much of it as I possibly can, and then if I dip off, I dip off.
I might actually go watch Infinity War while you run a marathon.
That's actually quite a funny idea. You should totally do that. There's a Cineworld in Newport. Hang on. Let's have a look now. Fuck it, you should.
As long as I get out in time to fucking meet you at the finish line.
You should totally fucking do that. That's a great idea. Yeah, dude. Yeah, you'd be fine. There's a 10 a.m.
I might do that, actually.
There's a 10 a.m. You'll be out about 1-ish.
1-ish.
Don and Lottie are going to be around anyway, so you could go find them. You'd be fine. 10 o'clock, 2D, job done.
Nice.
Okay, you go watch fucking Avengers while I run a fucking marathon. So I think what I'm gonna try and do, if Noel's available on Sunday, is after the marathon we'll go into Cardiff. I'm not gonna drink, but like you have a couple of drinks. I'll like go to Tiny Rebel and whatnot. Go back to mine and we'll see if we can hook up with Noel and get shit done.
Yeah.
Sweet. Good stuff. So yes, until that auspicious occasion, I'm very much looking forward to seeing you, and that's about the only thing I'm looking forward to that fucking weekend, I must say.
I'm very much looking forward to cheering you on to do a marathon. Jesus
fucking Christ. But yeah, until then, thank you very much for listening, folks, and we'll speak to you next week.
Speak to you soon, guys. Bye.
Bye-bye.